The rain had been falling for hours, soft and steady, as if the whole city had chosen to cry in silence. Neon signs shimmered on the wet pavement, stretching their colors across puddles that rippled every time a passing car cut through them. The streets were alive with sound, humming engines, the faint buzz of electricity, the distant voices of strangers who never truly looked at each other. David leaned against the cold railing of an overpass, watching the blur of lights below. He had always loved the city, even if it had never really loved him back. From up here, the chaos looked almost calm, like a painting instead of the restless machine it was. His jacket was damp, his shoes soaked, but he didn't mind. The air smelled like rain mixed with steel, sharp and clean, and it kept his thoughts steady. He closed his eyes for a moment. The world felt heavy, but not in a way he could put into words. He wasn't running from danger, not tonight. He wasn't chasing some impossible dream, either. He was simply tired. Tired of noise, tired of pretending he was always fine, tired of the way people drifted in and out of his life without warning. That was when Lucy's voice cut through the rain. Standing out here alone again. He opened his eyes and turned. She was walking toward him, hood up, her pale hair catching stray bits of neon light. She looked calm, but her eyes carried that sharpness he always noticed, like she saw through everything he tried to hide. She stopped beside him, resting her elbows on the railing, and for a moment they didn't say anything at all. The city spoke for them, endless and restless. Just needed air, David said softly. Lucy nodded, like she understood more than he'd said. She always did. The night unfolded slowly after that. They didn't rush anywhere. They walked the empty streets, their footsteps quiet against the wet ground. Vendors were packing up their stalls. Windows glowed faintly in the tall buildings above, each one holding a life they would never know. David felt the urge to fill the silence, but he stopped himself. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was rare, actually, to share quiet with someone without it feeling heavy. Lucy didn't demand words. She didn't push. She just stayed near, her presence grounding him in a way nothing else could. When they finally spoke again, it was simple. Do you ever feel like this city is too big? David asked. All the time, Lucy replied. Like you're surrounded by millions of people, but you're still alone. She glanced at him, her eyes soft now, and nodded. Yeah, but sometimes, being with the right person makes it smaller. Her words lingered in his chest. Warm, unexpected. He didn't answer right away. He just looked at her, memorizing the way the streetlight painted her face, how her breath made little clouds in the cool air. By the time they reached Lucy's apartment, the rain had eased into a mist. She hesitated at the door, her hand hovering over the keypad. For a moment, David thought she might say goodbye and disappear into the building. That would have been easy. That would have been safe. Instead, she looked back at him. Do you want to come in? She asked quietly. The question was simple, but it carried weight. It wasn't about shelter from the rain. It wasn't about comfort, either. It was about trust, about not wanting to face the quiet alone. David nodded. Yeah, I'd like that. Inside, her apartment was small, but warm. The glow of soft lamps replaced the harsh neon of the city outside. The hum of the fridge and the faint rattle of pipes filled the silence, ordinary sounds that felt strangely comforting. Lucy set her jacket on a chair and moved with an ease that told him this was her safe place. David stood awkwardly for a moment, his damp shoes leaving faint marks on the floor. She noticed, smiled gently, and tossed him a towel. You'll drip everywhere, she teased lightly. He laughed, low and quiet, and dried his hair. The simple act loosened something in his chest. For the first time in days, maybe weeks, he felt like he could breathe without the weight pressing down. They settled on the couch, a blanket tossed over the back, its edges frayed but soft. Lucy pulled her legs up, resting her chin on her knees. David leaned back, letting the cushions hold him. They didn't talk much at first. The city was still out there, alive and buzzing, but here it felt far away. Eventually, Lucy broke the quiet. David, do you ever feel like you don't know where you're going? Like no matter how hard you try, the ground keeps shifting. Her voice was steady, but there was something fragile beneath it. He looked at her. Yeah, every day. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. Me too. The honesty of it settled between them, gentle and real. No masks. No walls. Just two people admitting the same truth. Time passed slowly in that room. They talked about small things. Childhood memories, the first time they had seen the city lights from a rooftop, the songs that stayed stuck in their heads for days. They shared laughter that came soft and easy, not forced. But then, almost naturally, the conversation drifted to heavier thoughts. Lucy stared at the floor for a long moment before saying, "Sometimes I think, if everything ended tomorrow, I'd regret not holding onto the moments that mattered." David tilted his head. "What kind of moments?" "This," she said simply. "Being here. Not running. Not pretending. Just staying." Her words struck him harder than he expected. For years, he had been chasing, fighting, always moving forward because stopping felt like failure. But here, in this small room, he realized stopping didn't feel like failure at all. It felt like peace. The gentle twist came not from anything dramatic, but from the quiet itself. David realized that what he had been searching for wasn't some grand victory in the city, or a future that glowed brighter than the neon lights. It was this: being seen, being understood, being allowed to just exist without the pressure to be more than himself. And Lucy realized the same. The city didn't shrink because it got smaller. It shrank because they chose to face it together. The night stretched on, and the rain returned, tapping gently against the window. They sat close now, shoulders brushing beneath the shared blanket. Neither of them felt the need to say much more. Words had done their job. When David finally spoke again, it was quiet, almost hesitant. "Lucy, I really want to stay at your house." She looked at him, her eyes soft with something unspoken, and she nodded. "Then stay. No conditions. No promises. Just acceptance." The city outside kept spinning, neon and restless, but inside the small apartment, time slowed. David closed his eyes, listening to the rain, the hum of the room, and the steady rhythm of Lucy's breathing beside him. For once, he didn't feel like he had to fight the world. For once, he wasn't alone. And as sleep slowly pulled him under, he realized that sometimes, the most extraordinary thing wasn't surviving the city. It was finding a place where he could finally rest.